Blocks, inlines, inline blocks. I'm about to break everything you need to know about display properties in CSS. So first, let's start with block elements. Block elements are those elements that take up full weight of its parent container and start a new line. That is because, by default, block element has 100% weight. They always stack on top of each other. An example of these block elements are paragraphs, divs, headings, and headers. So let me show you a clear feature of what I'm talking about. So now, as you can see here, this is what I have for you for this tutorial. I have a div with a class name of card and I have 3 paragraphs in it. And if you look at the other side, this is what is happening. I have 3 paragraphs. But for you to actually point out my paragraphs, let me come to my style sheet here and target this my paragraphs and give it an outline color of red. And when I save here, now you can actually point out my paragraph because I'm having 1, 2, 3 paragraphs here. And I want you guys to remember what I said earlier, that block elements contain full weight of their parent container, and I mentioned that paragraph is one of the block elements. And you can see here, this is actually what is happening. This paragraph is actually containing the full weight of its parent container. That is because by default, block elements contain 100% weight of the parent container. Even if I come to my paragraph here and give a weight of 50%, they are still going to stay on top of each other. You can never see 2 block elements in the same line. I want you to know that whenever you see this, just know in your mind that these are not block elements. Now just look at what I'm talking about here. As you can see here, even though I reduced the weight of this paragraph 50%, they are still staying on top of each other. That's because, as I said earlier, by default, they contain 100% weight of the parent container. So just take note of this. So let me take off this weight of 50% that I gave it so that it can go back to its original form. And I want you guys to actually reason what is happening right now. Just imagine having a block element stacking on top of each other in this form. It's actually a good thing, and it actually makes sense. Because I want you guys to imagine having 2 paragraphs of text. And when the first paragraph finishes, the second paragraphs continue in the same line. It's actually going to look somehow. So this is a typical example of what is happening here. When the first paragraph stopped, the second one continued below the first paragraph. So this is actually what is happening here. Because if to say 2 paragraphs are going to be within the same line, the text is going to look kind of somehow. So this is what is happening here. And I want you guys to note that paragraphs are not only the block element. Divs are block element. Headers are block element. Paragraphs are block element. And typically, most things are block elements. But there are some exceptions. So when we talk about the exceptions, that is where inline comes to place. Block element consumes full weight of its parent container, but that doesn't react to inline. Inline only consumes the space of the text given, and it always comes inside of things. So if you notice here, I have links here, and so let me give these links an outline color so that you can actually point out my links. And now, as you can see here, I have some links inside my text, and I give it an outline color of blue, and you can actually point out these my links. Block elements take full weight of its parent container, and it always breaks down to the next block element. But when it comes to inline elements, in a single line, you can have more than one inline element. Now, as you can see here, just look at this, my second paragraph here. This is my first inline that I'm having here with a name of link, and this is actually a second inline I'm also having here. So in a single line, you can have more than one links. You can have more than one inline element in a single line. And example of some inline elements: links, anchor links are inline elements. Span are inline elements. Images are inline elements. So one more thing I want to take note of: block elements can actually react to height, meaning you can give them a height and they will react to it. You can give them a width and they will react to it. You can give them padding and margin, they will react to it. So let me show you one thing. If I give this my block element a weight of 200 pixels, it will actually react to it. I can also give it a weight and it will actually react to it. That is for my block element. I can give it a height also and it will react, but it doesn't work that way in inline element. So let me take this off here and take it back to the right one. So let me target this my link here, which are my inline element, and let me give it a height of 100 pixels. It doesn't react to it. Inline element doesn't react to it. It doesn't react to height. It doesn't react to padding. It doesn't react to margin. It doesn't react to anything. I want you guys to take note of that. If I give it a weight also, it will not react to it. If you think it is the value, let me give it 500. It will not react to it. Let me copy this, cut it, take it to my paragraphs, which my paragraphs are my block element. Paste it there, save it, and I want you guys to see what happened. It reacted to it. That's because paragraphs are block elements. Links are inline elements. Inline element doesn't react to height, margins, paddings. Inline element doesn't react to that. The only thing inline elements react to is one thing. Let me take this back. and the only thing inline elements react to is font size. I can only give it a font size. If I give this a font size of 2 rem and I save, it's going to react to it. Now you see my font size at 2 rem. That's the only thing inline element react to. There is a way I can change my block elements to react like an inline element. But before I make that change, I want you guys to notice something. Just look at this my browser here. If you notice here, this my browser, as I said earlier and I said it again, it contains 100% of my parent width. If you notice here, this my lorem text. It is a paragraph, and paragraph is a block element. So I want you guys to notice here, it is containing 100% of my parent width. And if you notice, it stopped here. As soon as I make this change to change it to an inline element, it's only going to contain the weight of my text. So what I'm going to do, there's just a one-line CSS trick to do that. The first thing I'm going to do here is to come down to your paragraph, which your paragraph is your block element. Just come to it and say display, and just give it an inline. Display inline. That's it. The moment you save, now look at what is happening here. If you just look at the outline, the line, it's only consuming the space of the text. That's why now it have changed the reaction. It is no more a block element now. It is an inline element. That is why now it is not consuming the 100% weight of the parent container. It is only containing the weight of the text. That is one way to change it to inline element, which is the third one I'm going to show you. I showed you block, I showed you inline, and there's another one that I'm going to show you that you can have an inline. With that inline, you can change it in a way that it will accept weight and height with just one line of CSS. Now, to have an inline, and even though inline cannot accept height and weight, there's actually another way I can do that. I can give my inline height and weight. So for the first thing I'm going to do here, let me create a link, which if you don't forget, my links are inline element, and let me just name it to be button, even though this isn't a button, it's a link. So first of all, let me give it a class name. If I give it a class name of btn, so that I can use the btn to target it in my CSS. The first thing I'm going to do now is to target this my button. Let me just style it a little bit so that it can actually be obvious. So if you actually look at my page here, my button is staying around this side, which is aligning, which is an inline element. That's why it is actually aligning to the other text. So, and let me just come here to my btn.btn. If I give it here, and the first thing I'm going to give it a background color. If I give it a background color of let me just give it a background color of white. Give it a color of white. And even though inline element doesn't accept padding, but let me just give it a padding so that I can show you guys what is going to happen. If I give it a padding of 25 pixels top and bottom and 75 pixels left and right, and I save. Now if you notice what is happening, I have a button here that I have something that looks like a button with a blue color, and but it is like entering my text and it's blocking my text. The reason it's behaving this way is because I'm giving an inline element padding and it doesn't accept padding. It doesn't react to padding. That's why it's just behaving somehow. It's even though it's not supposed to behave like this, but me giving an inline element a padding of 25 pixels, top and bottom, left and right 75 pixels. That's why it's behaving like this. The one solution I have to this that I can make this my inline element accept height and weight, padding and margins and all those things is with one line of CSS, and that is display inline block. It is an inline, but it should behave like a block. That is why it is display inline block. So the moment I save this, now if you notice what is happening right now, it has come down. It is no more blocking my text. That is because now it can accept height and weight. So let me just make this realistic. My inlines are inlines, my block are blocks. My button is an inline block. So that's basically all you need to know about inline and block elements. And I believe this video is helpful. Please, if it is, please kindly subscribe to the channel and please turn on the notification bell. And don't forget to tell me all what you feel about this video. If you feel there's something I didn't mention, please tell me down below. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Bin Mustafa.